Hey guys, in this video I will show you how to create a mod and make a sword. So before you do anything, go ahead and upgrade your Tmodloader to 1.4. If you don't know how to do that, just find the video on YouTube. And you have to also install Visual Studio Code with the net extension. Now, you can also find a video on that, but once you have done that, go ahead and go into workshop, develop mods. Let's just go ahead and delete my, give me a second. Go ahead and click create mod. Let's do tutorial mod. Now the mod display. Okay, so the mod name is basically like an invisible name, only you can see. So the display name is going to be the name people will search for and see into the mod browser. So let's name it just tutorial mod because I'm not planning on publishing it. The mod offer is you, so just put a random username on it. Yeah, I won't publish it, so I'll just do me. Great. Now once you have done that, you should see your mod right here. Now click open or the two papers and just click it. It will open your Visual Studio. If you don't have Visual Studio, go ahead and install it. So once you're here, you just wait for it to load, and then go ahead and click right click this tutorial mod or the name of your mod and do add new folder. In here, no, I'm gonna call it content. There we go. In here, let's go ahead and add another folder and let's name it items. And let's add another folder called weapons. And another folder called melee. So this is optional. You can just keep content, but I want to be a little organized. So in here, go ahead and add a class. Okay, now let's go. I'm gonna make a gel sword, so let's name it gel sword. There we go. So now wait for it to load in, and then you should see this. Don't delete anything except for toast system, or I mean, you can you can keep the system. Now go ahead and do using Terraria, then using Terraria.id, and then using Terraria.Tmodloader, and the last one is going to be using Terraria.GameContent.creative. Once you have done that, you can, okay, before you do anything else, just do mod item, like to take columns and mod item. Now let's set a display name and like the creative things. So to do that, do public override set static defaults. Now it should autofill it, and just delete this. Oh, right now first of all, let's do display name dot set defaults and just put the name of your item in here. So if you want it to be called gelatin sword or anything else, just type it in gelatin sword. There you go. Now if you want, you can add a tooltip. This is optional, of course, but let's just add it. Sword of gel. Okay, and remember to put this like symbols after each line of code. Now, for like in 1.4 in journal mode, you can research stuff. Well, let's go ahead and do that right here. So creative sacrifice catalog dot instance dot sacrifice count need. Okay, just do this. One. So this basically sets the amount of like the amount of items you need to like, research it. So for most swords you only need one. Now let's go and do public. So now let's set the damage, the use style, the animation. Or I'm not going to use animation to this video, but still everything like that. So set defaults. So now wait. Before you do anything else, do item dot width, and 32 is the normal range. So now once you have done that, go ahead and let's set the use style. Use style is basically the style, the use style. Yes. Let's do item use style ID dot swing. It's basically like you can choose swing, shoot, or you can choose swing. That will just swing the thing when you click. Raise land basically just holds it out. Tmodloader is just no. Swing. This video I'll be using swing. I guess that's what sword to use. Now let's add the use time or the speed of the item. Okay, let's just do auto reuse first. Auto reuse is basically that if you can hold it down, like auto reuse is that you can hold your mouse button down and it will keep swinging until you let go. Now let's set the use time. Use time is equal to, so the normal use time for swords and pre-boss, like pre-bosses, are 28. And then do item dot use animation and make it the same. Now let's get into the damage part. So item dot damage type is equals to damage class dot melee. So you need to set a damage type first of all, and then okay, so you need to set the damage type, so you can choose between all the classes. The classes are magic, range, generic, melee, and the list goes on. So after you have done that, you can actually set the damage. So I'll be making the damage 16. Now after I've done that, let's go ahead and add the knockback. Let's go do 7F. Now that should be everything. Yes, now. Okay, so with you're gonna have to add an image, of course, after this, and it has to be 32 by 32. But well, if you want your sword to be bigger without having to make it bigger, draw it bigger, go and just do item dot scale is equal to times equal to. You can also do plus and everything, but I'll use times for now. I'll do 1.4f, 1.5f. Now this will just make your sword a little bit bigger. Now let's go and add the recipe. So it's very easy. You have to just do override, add recipes, and go ahead and do create recipe to create a recipe, of course. Now once you have done that, you can add ingredients and other stuff. Let's go ahead and add an ingredient. Okay, so to add an item in from Terraria, you have to do item ID dot let's just do gel and set the amount to 25. Let's also make that you can only craft it as a workbench. So tile ID dot workbenches. There we go. Once you have done that, do not make this thing, this symbol after that. Instead, go and do register and then put it here. So if you have put this symbol in front of any of these, just remove it, except for if you put it in front of register. Okay, so let's go over it. So create recipe, create the recipe, add your ingredients, adds the ingredient you need. This just makes that you need to craft it at the workbench, and this just loads in the recipe. Okay, now we are done with our sword. Oh, wait, before you go ahead and test it out, add an image. I can show you my image. So my image is this sword. Very bad at drawing, but it's fine. So I'm just wait. So you have to make the sword the same resolution as you did this, or like the same size, better said. And then you have to save it and just drag your image in here. So make sure it's in the same folder as your sword or the code, and make sure it has the same name. Then double check this code. And once we have done that, go ahead and save it by clicking Ctrl S, and now let's go ahead and test it out. So go ahead and click workshop, develop mods, and then build and reload. You want to do this every time you make a change. So now single player test. Okay. Now let's go ahead and test it out. So first of all, let's check the recipe. There we go. You can see that my skeleton sword is right here. So you can just do it. Click on that if you will see the recipe. Okay, and if you're wondering what this is, it's cheat sheet. So okay, now let's go ahead and get it. So put it in the inventory. There you go. Now let's test it out. Once you click, it should swing, and then you can see you can hold it in. And if you go on to some target dummies, it will deal damage. That's basically it. So I forgot to add some rarity. So if you want your sword to have rarity, I just do item rare. Item rarity ID. It will change like the value. I think it will change the value and the color of the name. So, and if you want your sword to be bigger, just change the scale. Let's test it out. Okay. Now we can see that our sword is much bigger, and we can see that it's kind of blue and looks better. So that's it, everyone, and